What's up, guys? We are taking a look today at another Marvel Legends X-Men figure. Maybe one of the most anticipated figures in the Caliban wave. Definitely up there for me personally. That would, of course, be the old Cajun himself, Remy LeBeau Gambit. So we've got him here in our standard Marvel Legends packaging. You can see him there in the window in all of his glory. We've got the X-Men logo down there on the bottom, some artwork on the side, some more of that artwork on the back, as well as a small bio with our lineup for the wave. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, the Ragin Cajun himself, Gambit, Remy LeBeau, whatever you want to call him right now. This is the figure that I think of when I think of this wave, so I'm really excited to get into this figure, and you know, it's mostly because I don't have a 6-inch Gambit. You know I don't do Toy Biz stuff, so this is what I have been waiting for. The Rebel Tech almost got me, but I just couldn't do it. And I knew this was coming, and frankly, I am very, very happy with this figure. So let's jump right into it, see what he can do, see how he moves, because we do have some new stuff here, but we've also got some old stuff, obviously, with the trench coat aspect thing going on. I don't think we're going to be too surprised, really, because the new pieces that he has doesn't really incorporate any of that newer articulation we've been seeing with Hasbro. So we've got a head that can go up pretty far, or backwards rather, same thing, and then he goes down really far. I mean, there's great range of motion there. Head swivels side to side. You've got arms that go out, they swivel, bicep swivel. We've got a single jointed elbow on the trench coat body arms, but they give you right at 90 degrees just because of how they've sculpted it, so at least you have that far. We've got hinge and rotation at the wrist. You have got a crunch, so he goes forward, and then he does go back, but of course the jacket will start to add a little resistance. Then you've got a twist down there at the waist. Legs go out, they kick forward, they kick backwards. You've got a thigh cut in there, you've got double jointed knees, and then we have got a boot cut, and we've also got our hinge and rocker down there for the ankle articulation. So he is pretty standard as far as Marvel Legends goes. He's you know, pretty much what you'd expect. He just has you know, a little bit of a limitation in the elbow area just because of this particular type of figure that we're dealing with. Articulation aside, let's all be honest here. The main reason that we want a Gambit is for the look. This guy just looks fantastic. I'm really happy with the way he turned out, despite, again, the fact that he is using the trench coat arms and, of course, the actual trench coat. But I think it works pretty well on him. You know, I don't know if there's too many other ways that Hasbro can really do this type of setup without, you know, changing the game, really. Because there's just not much you can do when you have to have plastic that drapes all the way down the body without it being soft goods. And honestly, I wouldn't want this being soft goods. So I am pretty happy with how it turned out. Of course, you know, this is getting to be an old piece, but I think it still works on Gambit here. It's not bad. So you've got the trench coat itself. This is pretty standard stuff for Legends as far as figures that have had this. There's nothing new going on here. It's just brown this time instead of black or whatever other colors it's been made in. And then you've got the arms that go along with it. We have got a fist hand for his right hand, and you've got the painted fingers that stick out because he has 2 exposed fingers and a thumb, and then the rest of the hands are black. And then he's got a style pose hand here on the left for holding a card. He does not have a relaxed or just fist left hand, so you've always got a style pose with this guy. The interior of the figure, though, I think is absolutely fantastic. That marbly metallic, like kind of pink fuchsia color really, really pops. It's really nicely done. The kind of neck armor, I don't really know what that's supposed to be up here. This kind of stuff, it's got a lot of sculpted detail in there, and it's part of the figure. So this is a Gambit buck. This is not coming off. It's not a new thing. This is, or it is a new thing rather. This is a new piece altogether. So, you know, maybe we'll get a different Gambit down the road. Hasbro doesn't really make one thing and then only use it once. So it makes me wonder what they're going to do with this. And that's kind of the same with the crotch piece. So he's got the kind of same armor thing up here with the metallic blue is down here as well, and it's also sculpted in. So this is a new crotch piece, unless they've made this for somebody else before, but you know, that would escape me. And then we've also got the legs down here, which have the same kind of color as the chest, but these are sculpted rectangles. They are not just paint, which is really weird for Hasbro in general. But then, of course, that tells you that we got new parts from the waist down quite a bit. And then you've got his kind of telltale boots and the knee pads there, which have like the little triangle, and then they've got all the sculpted line work on there. They are again done up in the same kind of metallic marbly plastic. So I think the body is pretty fantastic on this guy. I think they nailed the 90s style look. Gambit's, you know, iconic look. There's really no debating that. The iconic Gambit look. I think it's really nailed down, and a lot of the parts are just nicely done. You know, this figure cemented the fact that I did not need to go the import route, and I got exactly what I wanted out of this figure. The same thing goes for the head too, because I really like the way this head turned out. It's got that kind of Gambit, kind of stoic but kind of smirking look. You've got some facial hair on there. There's little wisps of a beard and a mustache. You've got those red eyes, the black eyebrows, and you've got whatever his headgear is supposed to be. The mask that's not a mask, the half mask that doesn't conceal your identity or anything. But it's his look, and it works really well. Maybe the only real area to gripe about, and I know some folks have, and it's maybe more of just an annoyance than a real complaint, is the hair going in one direction only. So you've kind of got this specific windswept look. I would have much rather it been his more normal kind of hair parted to the side and then also draping down to his left as well. This is fine, you know, I think it looks great, don't get me wrong, but it also does kind of put him into a specific pose when it comes to movement's sake as far as kind of the flow of the body. Otherwise, though, I think the sculpt is really nice on it, you know, and when it comes down to how he looks, I think they executed on this really, really nicely. This is, again, just like with the body, this is the Gambit that I wanted, an iconic look, and I think they really nailed it. Now for accessories, Gambit comes pretty well stacked. He has just about everything you could really need outside of maybe more of what we get to really complement this figure. So as you can see, we have got a card effect piece, so it's just a little card with his kinetic energy coming out the top of it. It's done up in his kind of pinkish color that is very well in line with his power set. And then we've got his staff here, which has all the little segmented pieces that goes down. No paint on this guy. There's no paint on this. I feel like the card is maybe slightly undersized on this. You know, it's not a huge deal breaker. It's certainly not ruining this figure for me by any means, but it kind of feels a little small. And again, like I mentioned, this one can go in between those two fingers, and it stays there really, really well too. I've had no issues with it falling out or anything. And of course, you always get me when it comes to translucent plastic. And then we can pop this hand out and we can replace it with this guy here. So we've got a actual, you know, throwing effect piece hand here, which is a replacement hand altogether. And it's similar to like the bullseye hand that we got a ways back. And it's done up in the translucent plastic, and then they've painted it. It's not the greatest paint job, but where you are actually looking, it doesn't really matter. And then you've got like the kinetic energy swipe and then 3 cards coming out of it. So like I mentioned before, you have no hands for just a standard stoic relaxed pose, but I mean, come on, who's not going to have this guy holding or throwing cards at any time? So I'm perfectly fine with that. And I really think they did a great job with everything that they gave him. These are the essential accessories for Gambit. Again, the only thing that I might have wanted is maybe more regular single cards, but I'm not going to complain when we get this much good stuff. So this figure is an absolute winner for me. This was the essential figure out of the wave for me. Beast is fantastic. Jubilee is a good figure to have in this wave. We've got real heavy hitters when it comes to the classic 90s X-Men, but Gambit has been a long-time favorite character for me just since I was a kid, and to have this figure really, really does a lot for my X-Men ranks. He is a top-tier character for me, and it was a must-have. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to be a great figure, and Hasbro really delivered on that. I'm very happy with all the new parts we've got here. Even the trench coat works for this figure. It's old and dated at this point, but it still works pretty well. And then he comes with great accessories. And I mean, come on, it's Gambit, and they just didn't screw this figure up. And it made me not have to buy a $80 import figure, so I'm always happy for that. But this is a must-have for X-Men fans for sure. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Gambit figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.